Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the IMBA Cup 2 with me, your host, Guile. And today I'm excited because it's Grand Final Day. Well, it's not actually Grand Final Day. Grand Final Day was over a week ago now, but it has taken me this long to get a working set of replays. Two of them were bought, at least the two of the five that were posted on the forums. And that is not a spoiler because, of course, here at Sopcon Style, we always play all 5 matches of a best of 5, even if one of these players is to reach 3 games early, before the 5 games have been played. So you will see all of them, because let's face it, you guys want to see it, I want to see it, so we're going to see it. Enough said. You can see some early little conversations happening between Luzon and Armageddon. He's saying, good luck, have fun, my nemesis. And that is, of course, because these guys have already met in round 3 of this tournament. Armageddon dispatched Luzon in fine style, knocking him down to the loser's bracket, where he was forced to battle his way through those extra games and come back to meet Armageddon in the grand final, which, of course, he did in pretty stunning fashion. He's been playing absolutely amazingly. Of course, Luzon won the previous IMBA Cup and he's current tournament director of this one, so big thank you to him for organising all of this. And you see Armageddon has elected to take Cybran on this map, which is a pretty good call, I guess. Loads and loads of mass strewn about this place in a pretty haphazard fashion, so map control is going to be very, very key. And it's a very flat, broad map. These look like impassable bits of terrain here, and everywhere. But actually, it's so shallow, bots can walk right over them. So it's not like these are any kind of impassable sections creating these channels between the mountains or anything like that. They can walk straight over them. So Mantis spam will probably be quite key in this match, or this game, I should say, because this is just game 1 of 5. So, but whereas on the other side of things, Luzon has decided to go UEF, and you can see he's doing some shoulder drone upgrades. First one out, and going off to build some mass up here. You can see that's one of the great things about the shoulder drones from the UEF commander, as opposed to the T2 rovers that UEF can build. They can initiate buildings, which is fantastic for early game mobility on construction. They can just zip about the map and build things super fast. It's so useful, and that'll just pop along there. It'll probably go, yep, so he's just going to go on a round trip, building another one, factory, another one. So really, really handy tactic on a map like this. I do like that a lot, and he's got 2 of them out now. So yeah, that should give him a nice early boost. You can see he's queued up a transport, so he's looking to expand pretty aggressively in the early stages here. You can see he's got a bomber out already, and I don't see any inties on production yet for Armageddon, nor do I see any mobile anti-air, but of course that early bomber is only going to get 1 or 2 kills at the most, but it's always always tricky. Can take out a few early engineers, really hamper the expansion. And you can see this engineer drop now, full flow. Let's see where he's going. So wow, okay, so he's bringing it right the way across to Armageddon's side of the map. Very aggressive. Maybe he's planning to stick up a few PD or something. I mean, how many engineers has he got here? He's got 1, 2, 3 engineers, it looks like. So that could actually be quite an aggressive base build that's about to happen on the southern side of this this side of the map, and that could be real problems actually for Armageddon if he doesn't spot this. So it's all going to come down to a lucky scout, whether he's got any units that decide to go around here. But of course, pretty standard, both players just wanting to get units across the map to face off their opponent as quickly as possible, so they're just going the direct route at the moment. So unless there's a reason for Armageddon to divert anything other than a couple of engineers down this way, and you can see the amount of factories he's queued up, so he's really going for, Luzon's really going for an aggressive land spam attack. And you know what, I like that. I really do, because whatever happens, at the very least, is going to force Armageddon to stop sending units towards the middle, which is going to allow Luzon the chance to get more map control. And let's face it, in a game like Sopcon, where it's all about map control, that's what you want. You want to get as much of it as possible, get as many as the mass points as possible. So yeah, it's a good solid tactic there from Luzon. You can see a couple of Mantis taking out a mass point for Armageddon, so it's a nice little pickup there. But you can just kind of see, if we switch across to Armageddon's view, and grab one of his engineers, we'll actually just show you the range on a T1 radar. So I mean, unless he gets some scouts down here, or places a radar down here, he's not going to be able to see this. He's just not going to be aware that it's happening. And you can see units already starting to pour out of these factories. It's going to pick off the occasional engineer doing things around there, and it might just seem to Armageddon like it's a couple of rogue units, and if he's not careful, he could leave this far too long. You can see he's queued up a few factories of his own, so that'll be interesting. There's probably this engineer down here who's mass point, and queued up a load of factories with it, but that is now dead, so away that goes. But again, that's no real clue as to what's going on. Meanwhile, back at base on Luzon's side, we got here. Interesting. So he's queuing up more transports, and he's actually working on mech marines. Okay, so we've got some kind of ghetto gunship, it would seem, on the cards. It looks like a T2 transport that's being made. So could he be going for a comm sniper? Quite interesting. And he's certainly produced a lot of inties as well. So Luzon definitely favouring air superiority at the moment, because Armageddon must think he's in a reasonable position, and at the same time, even if that doesn't work, he's still got this base down here to worry about. So I'd say Luzon's actually sitting pretty good at the moment. I mean, he's in a nice position. He's got one fully loaded T2 ghetto gunship ready to go, another one ready to go as well now, so two of them. Is he going to move them out straight away? Now, the crucial thing here is whether or not Armageddon's got enough interceptors to defend against it. He's got 3 or 4 circling there, a couple more up here. And away the gunships go on the move, so this could be quite key. I wonder if he's going to use it to defend. Of course he could. If he goes for the comm snipe right now, if he manages to deal with the air, he doesn't want to be bringing these in too close to the inties. Of course, the cat will be out of the proverbial bag now for Luzon, so he's really got to commit if he's got any hope of making this work. Trouble is, more inties coming down now. Really doesn't want to lose either of these. Has to deal with them, which he does. And now they're just free reign to go. A third one coming in as well, and that is not going to go well for Armageddon, and he knows it. That's so. Luzon, very nicely played. Very early snipe at the 10 3/4 minute mark. And Armageddon just saying, my bro said me. So his bro Voodoo's obviously watching over his shoulder, says, my bro said that you would snipe me. But that's, you know, and even if that didn't work, yes, he'd invested quite a lot of mass in it. Yes, Armageddon was pushing, getting some penetration down onto his side of the map. So, I mean, I suppose it could have gone nastily, but I mean, he's got a lot of units sitting back here, so he would have been able to deal with this. And his commander's right here, he could have dealt with this. And at the same time, Armageddon wasn't going to be able to keep pushing. He was going to have to see if he actually... He still didn't really... I mean, he saw a couple of factories, certainly. So, I mean, he would have known, but I mean, he wouldn't have known that there was that kind of danger sitting on his doorstep. It's a huge quantity of engineers there, so he had a lot of build power to rush up more units. But yeah, very nicely played Luzon. So Luzon takes the first game, and the second game is going to be on Badlands. And actually look at what version it was of Badlands. It is version 4, just because certain people have been quite interested about what all the maps are. It's a good way to learn. Once again, as usual, I will be putting the map in the description below, all the different maps. I'll be putting in the timings as well, just in case you want to skip forward to the different games. I'll be whacking that further on. Incidentally, guys, I don't know if you saw, or if maybe I mentioned this earlier, I'm not sure, but we did have 407 concurrent users online yesterday because it was Faf's birthday. So, yeah, huge congratulations all round to Zepp and the boys for all your hard work. Lord knows we appreciate it, because ever since support was, pulled for this game, it was always a little bit hairy about whether it was going to take off or not. But you guys really have done brilliantly, and there's some lovely screenshots as well on the Facebook page for Forged Alliance Forever. So do go over and check out those. Actually, I think it was on the FAF party, launch party page that was set up, a little group. But yeah, just some screenshots showing the 407 users concurrent users online, which is definitely a record, I believe. I don't know, maybe Zep can tell me if I'm wrong on that. But either way, it's pretty impressive, and it certainly shows that the game is not done by any means. It's growing all the time, and it's thanks to all you guys, and thanks also to your support. I think I'm on the verge now of 200 odd subs, or getting there, and 50,000 views. So huge thank you to all of you, because it's certainly helps perpetuate the game. But anyway, we can see an early T1 bomber out for Armageddon, just strafing over the base of Luzon, getting some scouting info, but not anything else of any real value, since there is some nice T1 mobile which is out. So that is going to come back, and will he pick that up? Can he see that? You can see it now, and away goes the bomb. So that little flare will go down the pan. Of course, they have switched up races. So Luzon was playing UEF in the last round. He is elected to switch up to Aeon, and rather unsurprisingly, after losing as Cybran, Armageddon has decided to switch up to Fim, of which we've seen him play some very nice Fim games actually over the course of this tournament. And it's something that a lot of players do. It's easy to blame the race when you have a bad game. I mean, that's certainly nothing inherently wrong with playing Cybran on a map like this. This is, incidentally, you can see classically a 4v4, so there's a lot of mass in very close proximity to your initial base, and also you've got these extra hydrocarbons as well, so you've got really pretty good solid access to early power, but at the same time it makes you vulnerable to air attack, because at least if you're building lots of dotted T1 power around the place, they're not as likely as to get as focused down as a hydrocarbon, but you're really sort of putting up a flag when you've got lots of hydrocarbons about the map as juicy targets to get picked off. But that engineer certainly got picked off there. Nice little T1 bomber raid coming in from Luzon, and that's going to hamper the expansion of Armageddon. Let's just see if he's having any power troubles. He's having some now, yeah, so he really could have done with not losing that engineer, but there's another one. No, he's not electing to take that in at all. That's just going to work on some mass points down there. But more strafing coming over with his T1 bombers for Luzon, but they're going to get promptly dispatched by this mobile AA, which is not out before time for Armageddon. And Armageddon now working on a pretty heavy air build, it would seem. So that's 2 air factories up and 2 more queued for Armageddon, whereas Luzon definitely favouring a heavy land span build, just queuing up 1 on build, queuing up 4 more land factories. So, and a few T1 Fim tanks making it through the side here. Maybe just going to score a couple of nice kills on these mass points. Come back. Okay, that's 1 down, so it's immediately worth it. Managed to score a few mass points. That'd be nice if he could take out this engineer, but it's not going to make it. The Auroras are going to finish him off before he gets there. So some nice little bits of harass going on in the early game, certainly. Little land scout will be taken out. Meanwhile, more little units of harassment happening for Armageddon, helping disrupt that, whatever that was, some kind of factory that was going up around that future hydrocarbon. Armageddon also pushing up with 3 T1 tanks and a bunch of mobile AA for protection. Doesn't want him being swatted by any of the bombers that he's been seeing so far. Also, it's a nice ploy as well to get the mobile AA up there, help thin out some of this air if Armageddon's planning to go on a heavy air build, which it looks like he might be. Although he's got a lot of land factories queued up now. He's got enough mass, he feels, to sustain it. And units for Luzon pushing down here on the left-hand side. But they're pretty well covered by this bomber. And, two Auroras down for that pass. So definitely good value for money there, and I don't think this little engagement's going to go too well for those units. Luzon's going to lose that little raiding party. Armageddon's caught not microing his units there, getting hit with a couple of artillery shells. So all pretty standard so far, a little bit of back and forward, but nothing significant by any way, shape or form. So all 4 of these air factories are up and running for Armageddon. Now you can see him getting a air transport that's probably going to take one of these top ridges. In fact, Luzon's already got way ahead of him. He's managed to take up this right-hand ridge and get a radar up on the ridge. So we'll give him some nice coverage. We'll see how far that extends. Not that far, but I mean, it gives him some coverage on this right-hand side, so it's certainly worth it. But it looks like, I imagine, this transport's going to pick up a couple of engineers, maybe this engineer on the left-hand side, and just grab this ridge. So it will be more or less pretty even for map control for both players. And this is, we now have T2 up and running, and the first assault bot out for Armageddon, and that could be a bit of a game changer. I'm not sure we've got any T2 on the way up here. Not as yet that I can see, but this will certainly force... Yes, there is. Sorry, I do apologize. So, and that's already building Obsidian. So both players reaching Tech 2 at about the same time with their first T2 factory. And two assault bots just absolutely murdering those Auroras. So nasty versus T2, or sorry, T1 spam. They're so fast for T2 units, and look at the rate of fire on that. Hyper accurate, so you can't really micro out the way of them at all. It's not like you can dodge around them like you can with Mongoose or Hoplites. Nice little raiding party with some Auroras down here on the far right, but they're going to get promptly knocked aside, it would seem. Without any difficulty at all. Looks like Armageddon's beginning to push quite deep down the middle. But you can see some Obsidians on the field now. And they're just so tanky, that shield offering them excellent protection. It's going to be a nice counter to those assault bots, and they're going to have to withdraw. Meanwhile, Luzon pushing quite heavily with his small T1 force on the left-hand side. Not wanting to overcommit though, which is wise, because it's not going to do too well against assault bots, which seem to be coming in from the right. Now Armageddon pushing pretty solidly up the middle. This is assault bots, but I imagine they're going to get overcharged and run straight into a newly constructed T1 point defense. That will be the end of that assault bot and that little attack, and that one too, so that's two assault bots down, so a little bit wasteful there, but had to test the boundaries. He'll know not to run in there head first again, so it could have been much worse. And, again, making very short work of this force of Luzons on the left-hand side. While a few more units for Armageddon getting absolutely sandwiched, and now we've got Oblivion turrets, or a Oblivion turret up and running in the middle. That'll offer some really good solid protection for this middle section, where certainly where Armageddon's been favouring. And it's funny, considering he went pretty heavy air factory, he hasn't actually utilised it. He certainly hasn't favoured air in any particular way. He certainly doesn't have air superiority. May have been a feint. Lots of mobile T2 flak now, so I mean really at this stage air isn't going to challenge at all, and neither should it on a map this size. There's no reason to go heavy air on such a small map. It's just not, you know, that important. I mean certainly you can do some assassination, but it's so easy for either team when they've got some T2 factories up and running just to spread out some mobile T2 flak and cover all of their bases, so to speak. And that Oblivion turret getting chased down, very nicely dealt with. So really incredibly even, but my goodness, I do apologize, I had missed on the right hand side. Armageddon has managed to, must have done a very cheeky engineer drop, and he has definitely secured that right ridge. Definitely looking more secured than the first one that he managed to get his hands on. But so that's the first kind of piece of denial that either team has really scored on the other, so it's nicely played from Armageddon. I wonder if these engineers could produce a factory on the side. We have got a radar up here now anyway, so if he's got any sense he'll be producing some kind of T1 mobiles. I think he's some T1 artillery. I think he's going to. While Luzon pushing pretty heavily. He's got T3 now, Luzon, so that could be a little bit of a game changer. First T3 unit on the field that I can see. And that is going to give all kinds of headaches. Although he is withdrawing, which is quite interesting. He's just getting a few more units, I guess, in time. And you see that shield around them, so tanky compared to any of the TT units, although there are a lot of assault bots on the field. They need to focus down that Harbinger, but I'm not sure if they're going to catch it. He's a little bit tentative. I think he should have pushed the advantage on that. Could have done with taking that out. Also expensive at the moment. If we take a look at the economies, Luzon around the 87 mass mark, Armageddon on 67. So despite losing that ridge, Luzon economically seems to be a little bit ahead of it, and has managed to get rid of one of these mass points by dropping an Aurora tank on the top, and he's got an engineer here, so that's going to grab it. So they've literally changed places. T2 gunships on the field for Armageddon. And you feel momentum starting to swing slightly in Luzon's favor at this point. Knocking out T3 engineers, going to get a fusion up. This transport running for its life. From a horde of T1 inties that seems to have emerged, suddenly it's dropped Harbingers on the right hand side of the map. It's taken out almost all of the mass and 2 factories and a hydrocarbon. Thank goodness that Armageddon had T2 gunships to call on it, and they might not be done yet. Very nice play from Luzon, definitely keeping Armageddon on his toes. Just don't die to T2 units. That's so nasty. You see TAC missiles coming in now for Luzon. The question is there any TAC missile defense up and running for Armageddon? Assassinating the back mass, wisely recognizing that this stuff is going to be the most likely to be upgraded. Harbingers coming in more, again on the left hand side now. And what Armageddon can do to really turn this around. He is now up to T3 as well, so obviously he saw that. It's a real mirror matchup, this game. It's one person doing something and then the other reacting. See siege tanks in the composition now for Armageddon. But Armageddon having power trouble, it would seem. His shields blinking on and off. Interesting as well. Now this could be a make or break scenario. You can see Armageddon starting a chicken here, starting the experimental assault bot, and that's going to be so costly to get up and running, but that is really flying, so that obviously was where his power was disappearing to. Does Luzon know this is being built in any way? You can see a mass of engineers, but you can't see the square, which is the real giveaway, because obviously his radar coverage ends there. So, you know, there's nothing to immediately suggest that there's an experimental being built here. And you see something like that happening, you're going to know that they're going to be out of mass. So that's the time to push. But Luzon doesn't clock that quickly enough. It's like he's making some kind of push here, but it might just be putting the feelers out. Of course, these roaming T2 gunships offer so much support. It's very nicely played, actually, by Armageddon. He's pretty much got air superiority, so you know, he feels like he's got... I'd like to see him bring these gunships around here, assassinate this again. Maybe make it round the back and take out some of this mass. You know, make sure that you're trying to keep Luzon in his base so that he doesn't realize that you're investing in this. Because Luzon is certainly a player that will pounce if he senses any weakness in his opponent. Harbinger making short work of these forces on the left-hand side. But that assault bot is just flying up. Unless Luzon makes a play now, I'm not sure he's going to be able to do anything about it. You can see that he sensed the wrong danger. He sensed that he's been outdone in air, so he's gone immediately for T3 air, and that's how he's responded when the only real options would have been, had he known this was going up, would be to attack straight away and try and put Armageddon under immediate pressure, or to start a GC of his own and hope that he can get that up before that chicken gets in range. See, he's going for some kind of upgrade on his commander. So much T1 AA on this little cruise. It's one Harbinger and 100 T1 AA. And those gunships are going to get absolutely beasted, especially with those ASFs coming in. But spy planes coming in now for Luzon. He will have seen that bot that is now on the march towards his base, and that is a very heavy sinking feeling indeed when you see that and you know you're completely unprepared for it. And Armageddon just going to charge up the middle now that that's running on. Do excuse me while I blow into the mouse. Losing control of the pointer. One drawback to having a laser mouse, they're so precise that the slightest hair gets into the aperture and suddenly you can't do anything. More annoying when you're in a situation like this and that happens. You can see a GC has just been started, but that's far too late to do anything of any real consequence. And that assault bot's just going to go straight after all of the harbingers now, take them out of the equation. Strat bombers on the field now for Luzon, but it's really not going to do anything. It's nice that Armageddon has this shield to accompany as well. That's promptly been dispatched. Another one coming up to reinforce. And actually, he wants to be careful. Mustn't lose this. If he loses this bot, he is massively behind. You see Mercy's coming in now as well for Luzon. Trying to throw everything he can at it, but to be honest, that's going to be too much. And it's just going to get so power leveled by all these engineers. You can see it absolutely mashing. Up to 127 kills. 5 stars, and I'd say that's more or less unstoppable now from where he is. An upgrade still happening, so I don't know really what options Luzon has now. He's got the shield on. And another upgrade. Going for some kind of tele-snipe or something. Try and force the draw. He's got his strat bomber over the top, so he knows where Armageddon's commander is. He will have seen that. See, that is definitely the end of Luzon's base. There goes the T3 air factory. Still got some ASFs on the field, and they're going to make short work of these gunships. No static AA by the looks of things up and running for Armageddon, which is a shame. And it's not a tele-snipe at all. He hasn't got time to finish it with the chicken on the way. So he's just going to airdrop it in, being as he's got those ASFs. But you see Armageddon knows it's coming. He started T1 PD. And it's now a T1 PD war. That is the wrong decision, though. Wants to focus his own T1 PD. He's just made Luzon on the PD that's going up for Armageddon. But Armageddon ducks inside the shield very nicely. And he's got assault bots to assist. This could be quite close. Just going to slow it down. Strategic bombs coming in for Luzon. That looked like it more or less landed on his own commander, though. And shield almost depleted now for Luzon. And I just don't see him winning this one. Very ballsy play. Definitely the right decision, I think, from where he was. He wasn't going to be able to do anything else, realistically. So very gutsy play. But it does look like Armageddon is going to level the series at 1-1. So very nicely played. Very risky play from Armageddon. Plowing so much time, effort and energy into that experimental, and that could so easily have gone the other way, but you don't get anywhere in Supreme Commander by playing safe. So nicely done indeed. Map 3 is going to be Haven Reef, or Heaven Reef? I never get that right. And do excuse me while I just take a brief sip of water. If any of you have ever tried casting games and doing this many games for this long, you'd be amazed at how little moisture is left in your mouth after about 5 minutes. But anyway, that's a little bit too much information. I'm sure you don't need to hear about that. So 1-1. It really is all to play for as we move into the third game here. And it's kind of a peculiar map for a 1v1. I was actually talking to TA for Life, and actually no, it wasn't TA for Life. It was Luzon about this. I think I asked him what the maps were going to be for the grand final before this match was played, and he mentioned this. And this is the starting position, the typical starting position. Obviously, this is a 2v2 map. Quintessentially, you have one person here, one person there. They're opponents, and then you have teammates on these corner islands. And I don't know. This is certainly the ladder starting positions when this map is on ladder. This is where you start. But I always thought it was a little bit strange. I always thought it would be nice to have, the far corners, and then, this is the battleground that you have to fight over. It also encourages both players to go heavy navy first, and I always like the navy battles in this game. I think it's mainly because it's the only game that's ever really done navy justice, really. Only strategy game that's really got it right. I've never really seen another one. I always remember how excited I was when, the first Red Alert game came out for Command and Conquer series, and I was like, oh, fantastic! There's going to be ships in it, but it was so kind of underwhelming when they were actually in it. They had the submarines and things. It just didn't work right, and the scale was always off on Command and Conquer games as well. This is the only real game to properly get scale. I mean, kind of laughable. It was right up there with the sort of StarCraft battle cruiser for ludicrous concept of scale. But not to worry, we shouldn't be talking about other lesser games when we have such a fully complete game in front of us. You can see early bomber work going on for Luzon, and it did look like he managed to take out one or two little structures, engineers, and so it looks like pretty successful run initially for Luzon. And Armageddon just taking the opportunity to do a little scout in the bottom right with an Inti, make sure he's got an opening. It's always interesting as well because, I mean, with that first airdrop that you're going to do with engineers to grab one of these side islands, it's completely hit or miss really as to which one you're going to pick, because you're essentially both equidistant to these corner islands. So yeah, it's always hit and miss, but it looks like there's going to be an engineer on his Todd, not getting the benefit of any special taxi service from Luzon Airways. Luzon still not elected to build any transports, just focusing on getting the occasional Inti out. Both players obviously concerned about any bomber harass, especially after Armageddon's likely to be after the initial harass from Luzon. You can see he's got a transport up and running, and he's queued up a move command, a transport, auto transport. Where's he taking that? Looks like it's down here. So he's going to be making a play for the right island, so that's nicely convenient for both players. They're not immediately going for each other's islands, although this is kind of a nicely strategically placed bomber for Luzon. That could pop up at the right time and do real nasty amounts of damage, because of course, especially with just one engineer, that's a slow build up. You haven't got a lot of build power. He's going to do some recycling first. It's going to take him a while to get that factory up and running. If he gets a scout off with it, and take out that engineer, that really holds him up, when of course he's already well on the way to snagging this island up here. And yes, indeed, he does pick it up. So very nice work from Luzon. The question is he going to be able to save his bomber? He's not. But I mean, that's a small price to pay for the amount of time that's held up Armageddon. So well played there, certainly. Luzon marched his commander a little bit further forward. Actually, they both kind of marched their commanders to the same place. Armageddon yet to queue up any more factories. Luzon has 3 land factories up and running, so he's going to really hit it hard with an early land spam. You can see naval factories being queued up for Luzon. One already up and running, so we've got an early navy out for Armageddon, but earlier or larger levels of land spam for Luzon. So it's really going to be a rock, paper, scissors, see what does the most damage first. To be honest, I mean, it's kind of a hit and miss. These are nasty choke points to march your troops through. So, they're pretty easy to defend, but Armageddon's literally putting nothing into his land spam. I mean, the question is, does he know? He has seen those factories, so he should get an idea of what's coming. I'd love to see him build some wall sections, maybe build some PD up the front. He has managed to finally take over this bottom section now. He's got one factory up and running. It's going to provide him some support, but lots and lots of Intis coming over now. And an airdrop from Luzon with engineers. They coming down here? Let's see what he does. He might change his mind now he's got a proper view of it. Or is he taking them over? He's picking up... Interesting. So he's picked up 3 more mobile arty. Of course, both going thin now because of the amount of water on this map. And that's going to make landfall with absolutely no trouble, thanks to this fighter escort that it's got. And that's really painful. The question is, fantastically placed combat scout, managing to take out, I think it was a bit of a mistake. There's so much land up here. He should have landed them up here, sent the artillery down, and just got building factories. That would have probably been the best move. And it's not like he wasn't aware that there was a factory up and running already down here, because he had so much fighter coverage. Meanwhile, small drop happening up here for Armageddon. See if this comes to any more than Luzon's did. No, it's just medium tanks though, no artillery, so he's just not going to do any damage to that factory at all. Probably more sense to actually focus on the mass point. You're not going to be able to deny the factory and stop units coming out of it. See as well, this number of units just starting to gather in the middle for Luzon. The question is, will this transport that's loaded with stuff make landfall? I don't think it will. Yes, it does. That would have been disappointing for Armageddon had that gone down before dropping those off. But that's got a few units in there. You can see Luzon responding by dropping some of his own units in. Wants to spread them out quickly. Doesn't want them to get hit by any artillery. Of course, Luzon's commander is just there, but he is in the middle of an upgrade, so he can't go anywhere. That's probably why Armageddon elected to choose that timing for that little assault. Meanwhile, is this the same group, or is this another airdrop? Because they have done phenomenally well. Luzon's attention might be elsewhere. And Luzon needs to grab a hold of this match because he's now in trouble. He's getting frigates beat on by submarines down here. So he's losing the naval war, but of course he's got these units massing in the middle. Armageddon's commanders sitting back, and they're just slowly building up in numbers. Now Luzon's deciding to push them forward. Armageddon does not have the forces to deal with it at the moment. He's done a very nice job up here. He's secured all this down here. That does not look like it's in any danger of falling anytime soon. But if you can't hold on to the middle section, all of this is for naught. Frigates ambitiously taking on the shipyards, but centre's starting to go after some of these engineers, which is definitely the right call. Not going to live too long at all, so it's slowed up the build production a little bit. These inties are definitely outnumbered for Armageddon here. Luzon very confidently dispatching all those. But so much land now coming out for Luzon. Armageddon's actually going to get a good look of it. He's got no radar coverage up whatsoever, and that's going to be quite scary for him. Because he's literally got nothing. He's been airlifting units all over the place. He's been playing a very kind of large map style macro game, but you can't forget about this middle ridge. Just can't. It's a real shame as well, because actually he's done phenomenal work everywhere. He's been denying the production around the back of his base with T1 subs, although actually could be in danger of losing the sea battle, but that is because he's been upgrading to T2, so we're going to be getting a destroyer out, which absolutely mints any of these units. But it may well be too late now, because the damage, of course, Luzon's got his commander upgraded with the gun upgrades. The rate of fire is absolutely out of this world. Armageddon does not have the gun upgrade. So much spam out for Luzon. I honestly don't see how Armageddon's going to get out of this. He's got some T2 point defense up. He's focusing down on Luzon's commander, but of course T1 artillery will just pop that without any trouble. And, Armageddon's base just getting absolutely mobbed now. So much artillery coming in. Armageddon says, bah, fail again. But it's a pity, because he did phenomenal work. But look at the investiture on this side. So much mass has gone into securing this side, and attention gone into securing this side. He just, put nothing in the middle. But commiserations, it's not over yet, Armageddon, but the pressure is now on because you have to win the next 2 games as Luzon jumps 2 ahead in the series, and that's really annoying. TCP error, so we'll just have to load that up. We'll get a look at my very peculiar backdrop desktop. Where are you at? There we go. So we're on to game number 4, and that is going to be 4 hills. You know what? I've never seen this map. Excuse me while I just take another drink. Incidentally, if I sound different, it is because I have a brand new headset. The old one was falling to pieces, so do not adjust your sound. It is at my end. I hope it's working all right. The last one seemed to have a really nasty hiss on it the entire time, and my God, that's an ugly map. That is horrible. Looks like a piece of bread I found at the bottom of my bread bin last week. Absolutely disgusting. Been there for about 6 months. That is hideous. But never mind. I guess it's a little different. Certainly, that's what we want. It's obviously a kind of a slightly different take on the 4 corners. Very close quarters map, this one. Armageddon going straight for air. Armageddon's staying with Fim. Luzon moving back to Aeon. Luzon saying, good luck, have fun. Armageddon saying, die. That's nice. No more mercy. Interesting. I wonder if that's code for him saying he's going to mercy him. Yeah, Armageddon correctly stating he has no more chances, so he has to win the next 2 games if he has any chance of the money. Well, I say if he has a chance, if he wants to win the money. Bomber coming out for Luzon on target. And getting one off and taking that engineer out. How very annoying. Meanwhile, I'm going to do exactly the same thing and completely failing to drop a bomb. Messing up on the micro slightly there, perhaps. Meanwhile, that bomber's still running rampant for Luzon. And again, another pass without dropping a bomb. That could be very unfortunate. I wonder if this has anything to do with the changes that have been made to bombers. Because it's recently been altered so that you can't... they've been trying to stop another pass and still no bomb. They've been trying to... They've been trying to adjust it because you used to be able to, if you were good enough at your bomber micro, you used to be able to launch multiple bombs in the same direction and just kill everything in a line. That is the most ineffectual opening bomber run ever. Meanwhile, Luzon has been hampering Armageddon right from the get-go. I don't know how many engineers or structures he's lost to that bomber, but it's certainly held up Armageddon and put him on the back foot. So he's already at a loss at the beginning stages. See land factories flying up for Luzon. Get that land spam out seriously fast. See Luzon making a play for the top section of mass, and I think these corners on a map like this are probably going to be the first things you want to go for, obviously, because both of these and the middle sections are so very close to your opponent. Definitely don't want to give away anything unnecessarily, but bombers still roaming the field for Luzon. Armageddon needs to be careful, wants to either get some inties out or some roaming mobile AA. Definitely doesn't want to be losing any more engineers. Let's see how his concentration is. Luzon spotted that, saying he wants it. And his bomber's not dropping bombs either. This map is not good for bombers. Bombs away this time, and that will be the end of the engineer. And Armageddon, look, I mean, just look at the, in terms of map control, the dominance that Luzon has at the moment. This is not looking good. Armageddon's got to pull his finger out right now, or he will lose the tournament. Tank there taking care of that very forward engineer from Luzon. Luzon aggressively marching his commander straight up to the front door of Armageddon's base. And still these bombers doing such fantastic work. And I really do think that that opening was what hampered Armageddon's start on this map. The fact that his bomber was literally doing nothing, made about 4 or 5 passes, it would seem, over the top of Lucen's base. And Armageddon has just resigned himself to go on an absolute rampage now for death, guts, or glory. Quick cap there on one of the mass points. Going to try and level up, maybe get a base swap in. Realistically, probably his only option. Nice NT out though, finally dealing with some of that bomber harass, but yeah, this is not looking good for Armageddon. He'll just get chased down now by Luzon. I don't think there's anything he can do to stop it. Interesting, Luzon backing off. Would be my first choice. Down to 5,600 hit points. That would definitely be the time to push. And just look at the control. Quick look at the economies. Luzon sitting on plus 45 mass as opposed to woeful 22 that Armageddon's got. Lovely bomb though there. 4 or 5 units in the toilet. Armageddon making a small push now with his units. Commander in tow. Take an absolute miracle though for him to turn it around. The amount of factories that Luzon has up and running. Well, I suppose Armageddon's got a decent number, but he's so far behind in economy. Just look at the map control that Luzon's got. Doing an upgrade on his commander now. Wouldn't be surprised if that was gun upgrade. Could be the T2 upgrade, of course. Maybe get a bit of point defense creep going on into Armageddon's base. Armageddon busy just trying to get as many ranks on his commander as possible, get that regen up, those hit point bonuses. Incidentally, not sure whether I read it in the balance changes, but it does look like it's going to change with Colossus, Monkey Lords and Megaliths and stuff like that. Or I don't know about the Megaliths, but certainly Colossus, Monkey Lords and the Chicken. They're going to faff guys on the balance saying that they're talking about getting rid of the actual hit point increases on the rank ups on the experimentals, which I think is a pretty good idea, because it is kind of bullshit when they walk into your base, kill a whole bunch of engineers, and suddenly it's like you were never there. So I think that's a pretty good idea, but they won't affect the regen. They'll still regen at the same amount of time, but this is going to be the end for Armageddon, getting absolutely chased down now by these Auroras. And there he goes. So many congratulations to Luzon. He takes the series, takes the tournament, and good effort, Armageddon. Yeah, I think he was pretty hard done by. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe he mismicroed, I don't know. Bombers never shot. Mine did. Yeah, thanks, Luzon. Yeah, we know, we were watching. So rather unfortunate there. Kind of sad to lose it in that fashion as the final game, but I'm going to put it down to this shitty looking map. I think it's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Never mind, we have one more, and the final game will be on one of my all-time favorites, the one and only Whitefire. Love this map. My favorite 3v3, to be honest, but this is obviously going to be a 1v1, and this is just for honor. Armageddon needs to win this, doesn't want to lose the series 4-1. Excuse me once again. You can see Luzon going Cybran this time. Interesting. And Geddon once again sticking with Fem. Oh, you should probably try changing it up, mate. Hasn't been that lucky for you. Opening Air Factory first, whereas Luzon electing to go Land Factory first, so going super aggressive. It's just surprising how well that bomber span has worked out for him so far at the beginning of every game. But Luzon never won to be too predictable, so I guess that's why. Of course, these wrecks, really helpful. That's one of the reasons I love this map, is the amount of mass that allows you to get going so fast, get those early mass extractors upgraded. So much. Oh, serious power deficit. Get them T1 power plants up. There we go. That's a little healthier. Armageddon, yeah, not happy with his start at all. Compare it to how Luzon's doing economically. Hasn't even made a play for any of his mass yet. It's a much healthier start, I think. Poor Geddon. I just genuinely isn't a reflection of Geddon's abilities this match. I think he's having an off day today, which is not the time to have an off day in the grand final, unfortunately. But, you know, happens to us all. He's been so dominant and so phenomenal all tournament. It's unfortunate to have a final game that doesn't play out the way you want it to. Final match. This early Navy up and running for both players. Love to see. It's actually lots of talk of 2v2 tournaments that happen pretty regularly, and I'd like to see some 3v3 tournaments. Someone organise something like that. I'd do it, but I can't be bothered. Frigates now making their way over to Luzon's side of the map. It's going to deal with those two T1 NGs. Just trying to finish off that third naval factory. There's a bit of micro there to get the hell out of Dodge. But Seraphim, T1 RT, so IMBA, making their way across the map. So annoying as well when you're playing anything other than Seraphim. To be honest, I've been thinking about writing a post on the forums. I think the whole T1 RT business needs an overhaul. It's not right that it costs as little as it does, and you know, it doesn't have to set up to fire and things, because it effectively completely negates T1 point defense, and it's so cheap to build. You know, and it's an essential part of any piece of composition because it does so much damage to stationary targets, buildings, point defense. Honestly, I think it needs to cost more, and I think they need to work out some way of making all T1 RT, FIM included, deploy to really slow up the pace at which they attack. Because I think it's about, I don't know, I'm right in saying it's about half the cost. Let's actually have a look. I think it's half the cost for T1 RT than for a tank. What have we got here? So mobile light, so it's 51 mass for a mobile light artillery. No, I'm talking complete bullshit, ignore me. That must be very, very old stats from 3599 that I've had memorized. I'm spending too much time looking at that stupid sheet, unit sheet that's clearly out of date. But I do think they need to work out some way of getting T1 artillery to deploy, because it is kind of ridiculous. In what sphere of battle is artillery ever used to, like a mobile tank? You know, it's not. They're supposed to set up and fire from distance. That's the whole point of them. But very cheeky grab up the top here. I've just been rabbiting on, not concentrating at all. It's one too many games all in quick succession. It's kind of what happens to my brain, tiny and insignificant as it is. And that is pretty serious problems. You can see that Armageddon has managed to secure this side, but he's got no build power on it at all. He's kind of favouring a more direct approach with his T1 RT and his ships. But I think that could be very costly for Armageddon. I think that's going to work well for him at all. See Armageddon going for a small drop with some units, mostly T1 RT. He's got his commander over here as well, just getting all this mass up as quickly as possible. Doesn't want to lose out any of it to Luzon, which you can imagine would be a serious threat. If I was Luzon, I'd get at least one engineer over here to grab this wreck, being as that's kind of on his territory at the moment. Get that before his commander gets it. frigates happily blapping away at T1 Inties. It's just getting absolutely outmaneuvered by that arty. Just can't chase them down when they're hovering on the water. Keep beginning to pour across this middle island now for Armageddon, so getting some decent results from them. If you can manage to take out this factory and secure this island, then actually quite a significant win for Armageddon. Looks like he's finally going to finish off this first push as well from this very cheeky little drop that's happened up here. This mass that Luzon could have got if he'd been on the ball. Pretty well entrenched as well. I don't really see how Armageddon's going to break this line. You see there's T2 units on the field now from this base for Luzon. Light's going to work. And this base is, to all intents and purposes, lost on this front island. T1 RT just making a complete mess of it. Subs outnumbering Armageddon. Really outnumbering. So you can see Armageddon's definitely favoured frigates. Not built enough subs. Got 2 more coming in, excuse me. But they're going to get very quickly dealt with. It's going to be the end of the Navy threat. So it's all kind of evened up, but I would really like to see Armageddon do some kind of engineer drop and you know, copy what Luzon's doing, just to put some pressure on this side. Looks like instead he's going to try and grab this central island, but it's so dangerous because you're so close to all of these manufacturing facilities, and when you've lost the Navy already, one of these factories get up to T2, then a destroyer just got, especially cybering, just walk on land, got full range all round it anyway. Oh, is that even going to make landfall? At least drop it now. Yes, he does. And, that was unfortunate for Luzon. He didn't scout that. Now we're going to make landfall. And, those attack submarines are raised. They were away. It's a shame that he lost a few of those when he really didn't have to. Torpedo bomber landing's going to get some artillery in the face if he's not careful, so he promptly takes off when he realizes the danger. It's a pretty nice aggressive play actually at this stage from Armageddon. He needs to keep moving them. We're going to try and take out that T2 factory. He starts to work on some of his mass, but he's definitely going after the power at the moment, but I think there's far too much of it to really bother Luzon. Oh, well, he's kind of on the breadline, I guess. He's getting any significant projects built at any one time. See, really pretty significant force moving up here now, and Armageddon started building some T1 point defense. Of course, if I was Luzon, as soon as I realized that, I'd just move from around the back and attack from this side. But quite a few mobile artillery coming in. Oh my goodness me. Tac missiled. How utterly cheeky. Completely missed that, but you can't blame me for it. It looked like there was no immediate danger whatsoever. So at the 14-minute mark, Luzon gets in another snipe. And, yeah, takes it to 4-1. Well, many congratulations, Luzon. You did absolutely phenomenally well. Commiserations, Armageddon. You definitely didn't have your best day here today. But no doubt we're going to see you back again for any of the new tournaments that are coming up. And in the meantime, guys, really hope you liked all that. If you did, do like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will be back with some more regular FAF casts. But for now, that is me signing out.